Hey there everybody. I am going to do some pouring today, and I've got a festival coming up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina a week from today, and so I wanted to do a little bit of some pours with the Carolina blue color, and I just want to show you up close the consistency of the paint mixture. It should flow off your stick like warm honey. It should not drip like water, or it should not stick to your stick and be clumpy, then it's definitely too thick. And today I've mixed my paints 1-to-1 with Owatrol Easy Flow, which is the same as Floetrol. Owatrol is a European company, and you can order their product on Amazon or from owatrolusa.com. They are graciously giving me product to demo, and this is especially for the people that live outside of the United States that cannot get Floetrol. This is what you would need to use if you have access to it. It's the same thing as Floetrol. I love the product. And today I wanted to use UNC Chapel Hill colors, which is kind of a sky Carolina blue, and it's actually got a little bit of a periwinkle cast to it. And I had to make the color up. I used Artist Loft Cerulean Blue, Master's Touch Gray Purple, and I added a few drops of Payne's Gray by Creative Inspirations from Jerry's Artorama. I'm going to use a little bit of their Mars Black. I want this to be a pretty dark navy blue. Put a little more phthalo blue in. A little bit more Prussian blue. So I'm going to add at least as much Owatrol, like a 1-to-1 ratio, even maybe just a little bit more than 1 part Owatrol, because Arteza paints are so highly pigmented and rich and creamy. And then the water with a little bit of Owatrol in it. I usually do a 90% water to 10% Owatrol mixture for my water bottle. So that's better. It looks more like a navy that way. And I must see if I add a little black, what that does to it as well. Okay, so that grays the blue down too much, so I don't want to do that. So it's always good if you are getting ready to do a certain color scheme and you're not sure how the paints are going to mingle with each other, just try it out on a piece of index paper, cards, piece of paper, copy paper, photo paper, or something to try it out and make sure it's what you want. Okay, so like I said, the Owatrol, I probably use maybe 1.5 parts to the 1 part paint on this, because this paint is so dense and heavy in pigment that I could afford to do that. I've got a cup here that I was mixing earlier, and I knew that I didn't have enough space. I needed more blue, or had put too much. I put too much of this blue into that cup, and I knew that I needed a larger cup, so this was what was left in there. And trying to decide, I think I'll do OGX, and maybe just do it in one pump in the navy color. A couple of stirs, and that's it. I'm not going to put any in the blue. I'm going to pour that pretty high up, so but I'm not putting a lot of the navy color in. I want it to predominantly feel like Carolina blue. So this is my experimental piece. This is from a 6-pack of metal discs that I got at Michael's. They have a stand on the back. They also have a hanging piece at the top to hang on the wall. So what I did was I got one of these, I taped those so they don't move around, and I spray primed the top to give the metal some tooth so that my paint would stick to it pretty well. So that's what I'm going to try my first pour on. And this metal is very flexible. It's not like super heavy. It's very lightweight, and it is kind of on the flexible side, so you have to pay attention as far as making sure that it's as perfectly straight as you can get it. But I knew that this would be great to pour on. You wouldn't have any warping like you do with wood sometimes. So this is 4 ounces of paint. I keep my paint chart on my phone, and according to this, a 10-inch square canvas requires 3 ounces of paint. So I need no more than 3 ounces, and I've got 4, so I'm pretty good. So I'm just going to make sure again that as I get it as flat as I can. And after I pour this, I am going to have to prop it on some cups because I could not do push pins. So I've got to be able to set it on something where it lays flat. And make sure there's no tilt to it. Otherwise your paint will drift off, if it's not as level as possible. So I'm just trying to make sure that it is as level as I can get it. I have used this cup for resin, so it's like super hard on the bottom. It's not flexible at all, and there's no way I can puncture a hole to release the air. So it's going to have to pretty much come out on its own. I'm not using the heat gun too much because with OGX it creates its own cells and it doesn't really require heat to make them grow. And the only thing that the heat gun was really doing is popping bubbles. And on a project this size, you can actually blow on it yourself and pop the bubbles. If it's a large canvas, that would, kind of wear you out, but for something this size, you can blow the bubbles and release them yourself. I am going to get my very used foil pan that catches my drips, which I have used probably 30 or 40 times, and it's about time for me to get a new one just because this one is so bent up. But the paint will peel out. Like here, it's like super thin, and so I didn't want to fool with the time to take to peel it out. But if you get some layers and they dry and they kind of build up, it's very easy to pull out chunks of paint. Super easy, so it's a great way to catch your leftover paint. I had thought about not using any OGX or silicone and just seeing what would happen without having really any cells at all. But I do love cells, so I did decide to, kind of put it in there in just the navy color. So I'm going to try to get this pretty much over to the edge. I'm going to use my finger just to make sure it does reach the edge. You can even finish what's left in this cup. So I have an actual wood clock that I want to pour maybe using the Carolina colors, and I definitely wanted to do a test with the color combination just to see what would happen before I did it large, on a, not larger, but on a clock, which cost a lot more money to do, and you have to, pay for the clock parts and all that. So I want to make sure that, I had kind of what I wanted in mind going on before I did it. And I'm going to let some of this white drift off. So I'm not crazy about this side right here. I'm just going to run my finger under the edges so there's no drips that are hanging around on the bottom side of it. It's pretty clean on the other side. So I can tell, this one is fine, but I can tell that I would maybe like to add just a hint more of the navy to the clock. But I'm fairly pleased with this one. So I found it to be true with OGX that if you turn the heat gun on, it just pulls up tiny little dots. I was just trying to release air bubbles, but really it's safer to blow with your mouth than to heat it with the heat gun, because the little tiny dots come up and then it gives it that really spotted look. So that's just a little bit of on my part if you don't want a lot of little dots. So I'm going to go put this aside. I've also got some 8x10 canvases, so maybe I'm going to try one of these before I still do the clock, just to get my feel for how much white, blue, Carolina blue, and navy blue I want to use. So I'm going to keep what's in the cup already. Once again, I have enough paint to cover the whole canvas, so I'm not putting a base coat on beforehand. I'm just using a dry canvas. I have Jack Richardson butcher paper, and it is listed below the video where it says show more, or on your mobile device where the down arrow is. If you click on that, there's an Amazon link. I use the paper that's in that recommendations group. There's probably over 250 items. The Jack Richardson butcher paper is 30 inches deep and 50 feet long, and it's fabulous because you can wipe it down. You can let your paint dry on it if you want to and peel it off to make skins. It's just really great. It doesn't allow any seepage through on your table below because it has a plastic coating on it, so it's really fabulous. Okay, so on this one I used more blue, and it's very evident here. The longer you let your paint sit with OGX, the bigger the cells kind of grow. So if you can be a little bit patient with it, it's worth your wait to be patient. Running my finger along the bottom because these get sloppy. I am a messy painter for sure. I don't worry about the bottoms of my canvases. A lot of people ask about that, and there's fingerprints and paint and whatever on the bottoms of my canvases. I just let it be what it's going to be. So this one I'm going to try to use a little less of the deeper blue. pretty in that cup. So this one is pretty bland right here. So what I'm going to do, put a little blue and the navy color. Okay, so I had a little too less of the blue on that one, the deeper blue. So I had to add it in. So there's that one. It's a little funky. Okay, I'm going to do the clock. Go ahead and do it. I have push pins on the bottom. This was unprimed wood, so I have a coat of gesso on both sides, and I sanded it so it's smooth. And then I put a piece of masking tape. I scrunched it up and put it in the hole so that the paint wouldn't go down the center of the hole and dry and make the clock mechanism be harder to get through. So I just like to block the hole. Maybe I'll just do kind of like an open tree ring pour. Instead of flipping it the way I normally would. So it's not really a tree ring, but it's poured in a circular fashion. I am going to let this sit for a few minutes and let the cells just grow on their own. And I guess I'll just put it to the side. I have one more 8x10 canvas. I'll go ahead and do a pour on that real quick. Start it with the dark blue this time, just for fun. can also do that. You can bang your canvas and it causes those bubbles on the top to pop. So there's that one. So I'm going to take my clock and use my messy paint covered hands just to go around the edges and put that paint on there. And then I'm going to tilt. So this is one of those where I let it drift around, and so it pretty much took away all the round shapes of the cells. These other ones have just popped up. Probably that's the little bit of OGX that's in the whole paint. I am going to cover some of this blue. Use my palette knife. Okay. More blue than I wanted, so I'm not sure what I want to do. Trying to decide if I want to swipe it. Get it back under my hand here. going to play with it till I get it where I like it. Okay, I'm going to leave it this time. It was too dark the first time, and this is a little more subdued, but I still wanted that punch of blue, and I didn't get it the other way I was trying, so I re-poured it again, and to me it doesn't feel as dark as the other one, so I think I can live with this one. So sometimes you can manipulate it just a little bit to take out darker areas or whatever you're not liking about it. You can manipulate it. That's what I did. So I am done. I may put the UNC logo on here and I may not. I'm not sure. I will decide after it dries. So I've got a pretty good coat of paint under here, that's for sure. I might as well stick some on there and rub it all around, because you have to base coat that bottom anyway. So I'm just running my fingers all around the bottom surface. All right, there it is. So I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm just going to drizzle some color for fun. Take another piece of paper here. This is what people call a dip. So you're dipping your paper or canvas, and you're doing it together like a sandwich. And these are kind of flimsy because, like I said, it's just printed paper that was on the outside of a canvas or something like that. It's got a glossy side, but it's not very thick at all. But as it dries, it may looks pretty cool in certain areas for jewelry. I could either cut it down and put it in a little frame and leave it the way it is, or paint a little flower or ladybug or something on top of it, or a little fish. You know, there's so many possibilities, but see, the cells are popping up. So that's what you call dipping. So I got a pack of 5 sheets of acetate, heat resistant, and they're 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I cut it into 4 sections. So there's 2 pieces here. I'm going to turn it to the white side so you can see. And I'm going to do this one more time. And some of this nice deep navy. And then I'm just going to, for fun, maybe add a little purple. This is dark dioxazine purple, so it's pretty deep colored. And I'll add turquoise in just for fun. And then do a little white here and there. I have no idea what this will look like. I don't really do dips, but I always thought, well, I need to kind of figure it out, I guess. And maybe I'll do the purple rain, which you can see better. There's that color. I'm going to take this other piece and lay it on it. So this way you can kind of see through it to see what you're doing. But you take it and you press down. And then there you have 2 pieces. This is acetate, so it's not going to curl up on you because it's pretty firm plastic. Let me heat it real quick. Okay, I have a piece of glass here. So I'm going to move this out of the way. But that turned out really kind of cool. So that's on acetate. Just a cheap black frame, and here's the piece of glass that goes in it. And what I'm going to do, put it on cups here. And I'm going to get what's left of this Carolina blue. I'll do like a swipe of some sort. So you can paint on glass and put it back in the frame. That's the cool part about that. So if you just find you a cheap frame you like, and then you just put your glass in after you've let it dry, and you've got a framed piece of artwork. I'm going to use my stick to swipe it with, but I'm going to add some more colors. I don't have much of this. Let's see if I can get, it's like a minty emerald green. I'll do a little sour apple, which is that lime yellow green color too, which I like a lot. I'm going to pour this white right along the edge of the top. I'll tell you what, I'm going to use a paper towel instead of the tongue depressor stick that I have. I'm just going to use the end of this paper towel that I've used. Tear it so I don't have to worry about it falling into the paint. So this is a damp paper towel. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to pour this blue I have disposable containers and lids, and I keep my spare paint in it. Now I'm going to let it flow back a little bit. So we're going to stretch those cells out and see what happens. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave this the way it is. We're going to keep playing with it. I'm going to take, this is bright Deco Arts Bright Blue. I'm going to scrape out the bottom of this deep navy color and put it on the top edge. Leave this, and then I'm going to swipe that's prettier. The contrast between the deep dark blue and the bright blue is very pretty. So I'm going to let this drip down just a little bit. So now that looks like a field of blue flowers and some green leaves. It's really pretty. Or you turn it this way and it can look like blue wisteria is hanging down, and I could paint a butterfly right here or something, or a hummingbird even. That would be cool, but usually they're not attracted to blue, they're attracted to red. But yeah, I like this swipe a lot better than I did the first one. So I'll put that aside to dry, and then I can pop it back in the frame, and it's got a frame for it. So while I'm on a roll, this was a frame I got for $3.74 at Hobby Lobby. It's a 5x7, and I think the reason is This black area here has a little bit of a chip out of the black paint or something like that, so it's been marked down because it's got a few little scratches. So I can just go over that, but it's great for using the glass. And I have another frame right here. So let me show you what I'm going to do. That has a really cool, dark, funky black background. And I'm going to pop it in this frame. And now I have this that I can also do a painting of something in the center of this, like a butterfly or a bird or a flower. I think it would be really cool because I love the funky, colorful background. And maybe I'll even do something that has some metallic gold on it to pull out the gold from the frame. So that's what I'm going to do with this frame. So that leaves this, but I can use the glass from the other frame and put it in here. So I might as well just do something right now with it. So maybe, well, I've got a little bit of this deep blue left. Maybe I'll put make sure I get the sticker off the side. I can even, kind of vary it this way even. Maybe some of this peacock teal color. This sour apple color. And these have silicone. The bottles that are squeeze bottles do have silicone in them. Maybe a little bit of yellow. Not a lot, but some. I'll do a little bit of white. I'm going to use a little bit of turquoise. These colors have sat in the bottles for months and months with silicone in them, and I shake them. And you still get fabulous cells. So Don't give up on not getting sales, because it's super easy to get sales. So that's really pretty. And that would be a pretty background for a bird or a flower, because it looks like nature. Okay, so I'm done. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell in the bottom right corner, and that means you'll get notifications when I post new videos. And go to my Instagram account and follow me there, Sandra_Lett. Go to my website. All my paintings are available there. I've got a PayPal link below the videos if you want to donate some money. I have the Amazon link for recommendations of the products that I use. And if you want to become a patron of Patreon on my page and give a little monthly support, it can just be a few dollars a month, and you pledge to do that, and you get to see and have little perks and things along the way that the regular YouTube people don't get to see because it's for Patreon. So if you will, please come join me in those other areas. And I do have a Facebook page if you want to come join me there as well. We've got a great group of people that are very supportive of each other and give positive encouragement. So please come join us at Facebook. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.